I'm Tim, and I work with leaders in the financial services looking to change the outcomes of their content by improving its utility and, as a result, increasing growth, efficiency, and client retention. If you're here, you already know the industry is evolving. Marketing tech stacks are modernized to deliver digital experiences that are demanded by clients. But despite this, a lot of the people that I speak to in marketing leadership roles or in sales leadership roles typically cite that they're not getting the improvements in engagement they had hoped for. The other struggle that we find a lot of the time is that creating distinctive thought leadership in a crowded market is increasingly hard. And with AI coming down the track and content being generated by that, that's just adding more and more information and more content into everyone's inboxes. By the end of this session, you'll understand exactly why outdated content formats are costing firms money and what top organizations are doing differently. So right now, I think there are two types of firms within the financial sector: those that are adopting to new digital expectations and winning business as a result, and those that are falling behind as competitors capture market share. I think there are a couple of things that change, but the main things that are important is that the demand for personalization has increased. This is adding additional pressure in an environment that is already demanding that marketing and sales teams do more with less. Personalized communication is expected across all digital touchpoints. Again, this is increasing the complexity and the scale of campaigns, and again, the demand for content to be created. But in financial services, regulation and compliance really limit the adoption of technology to help relieve some of this demand and compete and keep pace with other industries. Firms that modernize their content see up to 25% higher engagement with their brand, demand, and customer marketing materials. And effectively here, this isn't just about adopting a new technology. Driving more engagement will lead to higher client retention and ultimately more revenue. I think most firms are still relying heavily on PDFs, PowerPoints, and Word documents throughout their marketing and sales process. And here's the problem with that. Static formats don't engage readers and they don't stand out from the crowd. Typically, again, when I'm speaking to leaders in this space, when they are able to measure it, find that people spend less than a minute reading their PDFs. The clients that we have in this sector, the analytics that we have collected around this shows that the average read time for folio and content is over 4 minutes. Every day I speak to individuals that waste hours a week updating, proofing, redistributing documents. When you multiply that by a marketing and a sales headcount, it's a massive hidden cost. Legacy formats don't really provide any data. This leads to a loss of client understanding. So if you can't understand how your clients are engaging, you don't really know what's going on. There's no way of attributing all of that marketing collateral and campaign work, which means there's no way of really tracking marketing back to the bottom line. Ultimately, if your content's outdated, disengaging, and static, you're leaving revenue on the table. As we see it, I think clients will stop engaging with your content. And again, a lot of the conversations I'm having is that what worked 5 years ago as a content-led campaign just will not cut through anymore. So you're losing traction and visibility in the marketplace. Content being out of date is also, from an operational standpoint, something that's leading to hesitancy in delivering campaigns. So because you can't get the content out the door quickly enough, lots of firms don't use the expertise that they have within their business to deliver something that's timely. Also, we see that distribution of up-to-date sales materials can be a real problem. So this leads to a frustration between sales and marketing, where there's lots of demands coming into marketing and they can't keep up with them to fulfill the needs of sales. So this is a frustration between those two teams, but also can lead to a loss of business. The question isn't really about how content looks. This is about reducing costs, improving efficiency, and driving more revenue. We work with a really wide range of companies in the sector, from Lockton Insurance through to BNY and Asset Management, and many others in between. Broadly, before Folion, they struggle with some really key things. So slow manual process for creating and updating collateral. No way to measure a prospect or a client engagement with that content. content bottlenecks that slowed down their commercial teams, and a lack of content utility and consistency across global and regional teams. Once they switch, clients typically go from creating a few documents a month through to 15 or 25 interactive guides or client-facing pieces of content per month. Sales and account teams are empowered to create their own content without waiting on marketing, but every guide or every piece of content stays up to date and can be distributed from a central place with brand consistency to those teams. The final thing that I think is really important, and we mentioned this, is the ability to track that engagement and pull that into a better understanding of the client. So it's not just a win for marketing, but the platform that we have delivers operational excellence across all of the client touchpoints. Firms that are leading the industry are moving away from PDFs to interactive data-driven content, utilizing real-time analytics to improve client engagement, and empowering account and client-facing teams to create content without adding to their headcount. The approach impacts engagement across the board, improving interaction and ultimately profitability. So the good news is we can help you with that. If you're serious about modernizing your content, here's what you can do next. If you fill out the form below, we'll create a custom interactive content demo based on your branding, and you can see firsthand what your clients and prospects could be engaging with. We have conversations with people like you every single day of the week, so we can set up a quick strategy session to discuss how firms like yours are making the shift. Traditional content formats are outdated and costing firms revenue. The best firms are scaling content creation without increasing costs. You don't have to overhaul everything. You can take just the first step. Again, fill out the form below to get your custom demo. We can see how your firm can stay ahead.